Nuestro próximo conferencista es Tiago Mattos. Queremos darle una cordial bienvenida a Tiago, quien nos hablará del reto de las organizaciones en la era digital y el nuevo consumidor. Tiago tiene formación en las escuelas de innovación más famosas del mundo, es docente de clases de futurismo en la Universidad Hebrea de Jerusalén y ha sido cofundador de proyectos de innovación, tecnología y creatividad, entre otros. Actualmente lidera Aerolito, empresa que explora escenarios futuros a través de una metodología original sobre realidad virtual, Internet de las cosas, robótica e inteligencia artificial. Además es el cofundador de Perestroika, la escuela más grande de actividades creativas en América Latina. Así que le damos un fuerte aplauso a Tiago y la bienvenida al escenario.
Gracias. Hola, hola. Buenos días, Colombia.
Buenos días.
Estoy empezando en español, pero I can't speak Spanish. I won't pretend.
Ya se apagó.
So, thank you for having me here. I really appreciate the fact that you invited me from Brazil. I want to thank you for this invitation. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alejandra, for being such a audio. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? No? Just a sec.
Just a second.
Audio. No? Do you have a hand mic? I don't mind speaking on a hand mic. Hello?
Yep.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. First things first, I have to apologize in advance. English is not my first language. I will try my best. And I'm pretty sure that I could express my ideas in Portuguese in a more empathetic way, but I'll try my best. Second thing, I'm sure that all this presentation will take more than the 45 minutes because I have a few issues here, so I apologize in advance as well. And I'm sorry that I can't speak Spanish. I think it's very rude to do that, but as I told you, I just started my Spanish classes. Third thing, what I'm gonna show you here is just my perspective. And my perspective is for sure not the truth, it's not the right. I hate the kind of presenter that has, you know, there is a way to present, it's intellectual terrorism. I hate that. Either you do that or you die. I don't like this kind of presentation, so I'm gonna present some ideas, but if you disagree, okay. And I'm gonna present, as an educator, I like to start very slow and engage the audience, and in the end, I will speed up a little bit. So in the first slides, you'll see some very known examples, but I prefer doing that instead of losing some of you in the beginning. Fourth thing, I prefer asking good questions instead of trying to trying to share good answers. This is the way I work, and I hope you guys enjoy. So a bit of context, my name is Tiago, I'm from Brazil, and you can associate at least 3 tags to my name. Entrepreneur, I helped to co-found many ventures, big data labs, tech companies, digital platforms, innovation schools, many ventures. Right now I run this company called Aerolito. It's a future lab. We have consultancies and courses about the future. Also we have experimentations on VR, cryptocurrencies, artificial intelligence, robotics, Internet of Things. I can associate to my name the tag teacher. I teach, of course, in my school in Brazil. I teach in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. They have a project there called Transdisciplinary Innovation Program, where the students can interact with a lot of nice guys. They have in their faculty 14 Nobel Prize winners, and I'm there in charge of the future track. I also am part of, I'm a faculty member at Singularity University. I don't know if you know Singularity. I'll introduce Singularity in the next slide. But the tag that make people curious is Futures. Future is just someone that investigates, explores the future. This journey started in 2012 when I attended to a NASA school called Singularity, as I said before. It's a NASA school. They select 80 people around the world for a 10-week journey, and then they share what they know, the best knowledge about AI, robotics, IoT, VR, space engineering. It's a very intense journey. And after that, I felt in love about the future. I can say that my understanding about the future was very naive at that time, and now I think it's a little bit more deep. And after that, we just travel all around the world in order to understand very different perspectives about the future. And these perspectives are the perspectives that I'm gonna share with you. We've been sharing this with many market leaders, and I hope you guys like it. So in order to talk about the future, you have to talk about the customer of the future. This is the briefing that they invited me to share with you. But I like to start with a warm-up. So we're gonna play a game. The game is the following. When I say, okay, you raise one arm. Not now, you raise one arm. I'm gonna display a list of companies, and if you know the company, the first company, keep your hands up, okay? If you know the second, keep your hands up. If you know the third, hands up. If you don't know one, put your hands down. If you put your hands down, you cannot raise it up again, okay? You lost. So the goal is to end the list, all the companies, with your hands up. Got it? Very easy, right? They told me you are the best of the best in Colombia, so I hope you guys understand everything I'm gonna say. So, hands up, hands up, hands up. If you put your hands down, you cannot go back, okay? Once it's down, I'll go back. If you know the company, keep it up, okay? First company, Coke. Thank God. Second, Walmart. Okay, nice. Johnson & Johnson. Okay. Xerox. Okay. MasterCard. Okay. Visa. Can you see? Visa. Okay. Pepsi. Okay. And Nike. Okay, put your hands down. I knew it. I knew it. 100% of the audience knows this whole list. And you have to be very proud of that. I just display a list of 9 out of the 100 the biggest companies in the industrial economy. I'm gonna present to you another list, please. Arms up. Another list, a different list. So GitHub. Ooh, we lost a few soldiers here. Let me see. Okay, we still have 10%, I would say. Okay, we still have a few companies. Okay, Splunk. Okay, tech guys, come with me. Come to, no. See, tech guys, come with me. We still have 7. Gustin? Yes? Cool. Come on, you have to. Everybody's cheering for you, okay? Enable? Ah, come on, Colombia. I still had Zillow, Tiago, Etsy, and Podio. And what happened? Why 100% knows the first list and no one knows the second list? Because this is a different list. Here I displayed 9 out of the 100 of the biggest companies in the digital economy. And this game is, of course, just a game, but it makes us question ourselves, who's inspiring us? The classic economy, the classic leaders, the classic case studies, the classic processes, or the new economy? Because if you read books about the classic economy, you reproduce classic economy. If you measure the same things of the classic economy, you'll measure things about the classic economy, and you'll be classic economy. If you are inspired by the classic economy, you'll be inspired by the classic economy, and you reproduce this within your company. So my question is, who is inspiring you? If you guys are here in this conference, I can assume you want to be more inspired by the digital economy. And that's why I'm here to talk about this new consumer, because this new consumer is very linked to the second list, not to the first list. So, what's new about the new consumer? Why is not just a consumer, new consumer? Why new? Because this consumer is facing is changing his mindset, as Edgar said. I loved your presentation, by the way. Thank you. I loved your presentation. The consumer is changing his mindset. Why? Because we are facing not an era of changes. A lot of people say we are facing a year of changes. We are living a year of changes. A certain period of time with a lot of changes. I think this is right, but this is small compared to a change of era. When I say we are, this wordplay looks like a wordplay, just a wordplay, but it's more than just a wordplay. It shows the size of the phenomena. There are many ways to explain humankind's history, many ways. This is just one way. One way that Alvin Toffler, John Duran, the Wikipedia itself, we like this way to explain humankind's history. So in humankind's history, we had just 3 eras and 2 revolutions. The agricultural era, then the industrial revolution, then the industrial era, then the digital revolution, then the digital era. So if this way to explain humankind's history is right, everybody in this room, myself, you, everybody, were educated to work in the industrial era with the industrial metrics, with industrial processes, but we are facing a digital economy, a digital consumer. So it's very challenging. What's the industrial business model? The industrial business model is this. Oh, it's kind of crashed, but don't worry. We pick up natural resources, we put them through an assembling line, we transform the natural resources, and it becomes a good to be purchased. Okay? This is the model. So the sentence that could summarize this model would be, you must buy stuff, and you must own stuff. Because if you don't buy stuff, and if you don't own stuff, how can they work? They would produce a few products, and they would shut down. You have to buy, and then buy the new version, and buy the new one, and buy the 7, 7 plus, 8, 8 point, and you have to keep buying, keep owning. Otherwise, this model doesn't work. What's the digital model? The digital model is the following. So, as Edgar said, you digitalized the goods, you turn them in information technology, zeros and ones. Once they are zeros and ones, you can provide, the goods become services, and then the companies sell access to these services, not access to goods anymore. Classic example, as Edgar said, not DVDs. I have a collection of Blu-ray in my home. I bought them in 2010. This is so weird because in 2010, I bought 300 Blu-rays. And 2 years later, 3 years later, it was nonsense to have like 300 Blu-rays. So they digitalized the Blu-rays. They are zeros and ones, and now you have access to them. Okay. But very often, you have services that have physical assets, like Uber and Airbnb. They provide a service, they provide access to the rides, they provide access to the stayings, of course, but they need the car and they need the home, right? Netflix doesn't need anything physical, right? Do you agree with that? They don't need anything physical, it's 100% digital. But Uber needs the car, Airbnb needs the home or the real estate. Oops. So in both cases, oops, there's something, let me, just a sec. This is not, sorry about that. This is the wrong presentation. Okay.
Increíble, ¿no?
Sorry about that, guys. But otherwise, I would present something wrong to you. Sorry about that. I will skip all the slides. Sorry. But in both cases, we have disruption. We have dematerialization. It becomes cheaper for the company. It becomes universal. it becomes scalable, as he said, and it becomes cheaper for the consumer. So we have the rise of the shared economy because of this. And the new consumer is the shared economy consumer. We are moving from the ownership era to the access era. We have to want access instead of ownership. This book explains this very well. I don't know, have some of you read this book? Yes, this book is amazing. It's what's mine is yours, what's mine is ours. There's a wordplay here. It's from Rachel Botsman and Will Rogers, and it's explained the shared economy very, very well. For those of you that don't want to read the book, I will bring to you the best metaphor they have, and it was shared by Rachel Botsman on her TED Talk. So I put Spanish subtitles. What you need is the hole, not the drill, never the drill. How many of you have a power drill? It's nonsense. You're going to use 12, 10 minutes, engineers 15. Engineers 15, but most of us 10, 12 minutes in its entire lifetime. But we need to have the power drill because, Tiago, if I want to make an installation at my home at 3 a.m. in the morning, and my power drill is not with me, who is going to install something 3 a.m. in the morning? So we have a lot of fallacies when it comes to the shared economy. Well, what you have to think is this sentence. In the industrial model, in the industrial mindset, to have is bigger than to be. And I'll explain why. We were educated in order to have, and having makes us being. We surround ourselves with a lot of stuff. If I have a nice car, I'm a nice person. If I have a nice apartment, I'm a nice person. If I have nice clothes, I'm a nice person. I surround myself with nice stuff. People look at me through this layer of stuff. They judge me through this layer. And if I have in this layer nice stuff, people say, Tiago is nice. If I don't have nice stuff, they will say, Tiago is bad. It's not nice. Because this makes sense for the industrial economy. Imagine the industrial economy has to convince us to have a lot of stuff. Otherwise, you won't be nice. But now it's different. This new consumer is different. This new consumer doesn't see that it's nice to have a lot of DVDs. He doesn't see that someone that has a car is nice anymore. In fact, it's the opposite. He says, do you have a car? This is strange, man. Do you have a lot of DVDs? This is strange, man. I don't have a car. I sold my car. And I won't have a car in my life. Never more. Never more. Because I feel that I was driving the car. I had the problem when I had to park, I had the car, and when I had to park, I say, what do I do with this giant toy, Where do I put this? It's nonsense. Right now, I just step inside the car and step out of the car, and that's it. And it's cheaper, and it's safer, and a lot of things. But I can assume some of you say, oh, I don't like this idea of sharing economy. I like to have my car. I don't like to share my car. Someone can sweat on my car. Someone can stink on my car. Someone can have dandruffs on my car. I don't like to share my car. This is the fallacy. This is the fallacy. Because you travel by plane and you share the seats. It's the same thing. But the mindset of having in order to be is there. Buy stuff, keep stuff, own stuff. We are victims of the system. If you guys don't agree, I'm going to present to you a video that shows why we are victims of the system. If you like to have stuff, to buy stuff, you are not a bad person. You are just victim of a system that is bigger than us. I'm going to show to you this video from Box 1824.
Some want to travel the world. Others want to buy new clothes every month. And some people just want to buy, buy, buy. We used to focus on satisfying our needs. That was the norm. But we live in a culture that's transformed everything into excess. An excess that doesn't seem very natural.
My next guest is a 33-year-old man who spent over $100,000 on cosmetic procedures to look like Justin Bieber.
And how did this happen? For industrialization to succeed, it had to not only produce an abundance of goods, but also an abundance of demand. Since then, people were encouraged to buy more than necessary. With growing competition between industries, there was a boom in the fields of advertising and marketing.
I love this sentence. Earth is our home, not a giant shopping center. And if you guys agree with that, you are starting to be linked with the way millennials think. They don't see the world as a giant shopping center. I was educated to see the world as a giant shopping center. Because otherwise, either I have a lot of nice stuff, and I would be a nice guy, or I won't have a lot of nice stuff, and people would judge me, saying, oh, Tiago is just a regular guy. So access over ownership. Access over ownership. But, as Edgar said, this is not the future. This is not very futuristic. This is okay. I know a lot of you guys know this, so I will speed up a little bit. And let's talk about the shared economy in an automated scenario. Let's imagine this doorknob, this lock, this doorknob. This doorknob is smart. It has a sensor. And this sensor is linked to the cloud. And it runs itself over a protocol called blockchain. I won't explain blockchain right now because you're going to have a talk about blockchain. Blockchain is very difficult to explain. But the only two things you need to know about blockchain right now is a very safe protocol, and it allows you to pay peer-to-peer with no intermediates. So no banks, no credit cards, nothing. I send you bitcoins, you send me bitcoins, I send you Ether, you send me Ether, no taxes, no intermediates, okay? Just this for this context. So our smart knob is there with the sensor, and this door belongs to an apartment, and this apartment belongs to someone. This guy is the owner. And I'm walking on the street, there, and I start to look at houses I want to rent. And prior, this owner sends to the smart knob, two information: the deposit, $1,000, and the value of each day. So for the renting, so for example, $100. So every night $100, but in order to stay there, $1,000 as a safe deposit. So I'm there, and I see the house, and I use my phone. I put here my phone close to the knob, and the knob talks to my phone and say, if you want to stay here, you have to pay $1,000, and then each night, $100. And I say, okay, I'll do it. So I send money, bitcoins or any altcoin, from my phone, from my wallet, to the knob, not to the owner. My money is going here, not here. My money goes to the knob, and the knob self-manages itself. The knob says, okay, you can stay here for 3, 4, 5 days, depending on how much I paid. In the end, I leave the apartment, and the knob gives me money back because it knows how many days I stayed. So if I stay 6 days, I have to pay $600, and it gives me back $400 because the deposit was $1,000. And then the knob transfers money automatically to the owner. It self-manages itself. So this is Airbnb automated. This is the future of Airbnb. Airbnb is scared about this. Airbnb is not the future. This is the future of Airbnb. And imagine that this knob could be a lock, and this lock could be used to cars or bikes or the power drill. For example, you guys have in your building, you guys have just one power drill in the basement, and it's locked with this lock. And if you go there, you pay 10 cents to use, 10 cents of dollar to use it, and then you go, use the drill, and then you go back, you lock, and everybody knows who's using and who's not using, and who's paying and not paying. So this is the future of Uber, for example. The cars will be parked on the street, and you'll just use your cell phone, and you say, oh, how much is this car? No, I don't like it. How much is this car? No, I don't like it. How much is this car? And you enter the car, and you drive, and you leave the car in the place you want, and it locks itself. It self-manages itself. This company is called Lockit. And it's a huge, huge shift in this industrial economy. If you guys want to know, this is the technology, but it's a major shift in this ownership system. With less ownership, we have less insurance for goods. And how are we preparing ourselves for this possibility? But let's go a little bit further. The new consumer will have temporary access even to physical goods. Right now, when you use Netflix, you don't download the video, right? You don't have the video in your smart TV on your computer. You have just a fraction of the movie in your computer or in your TV. The same thing can be applied to shoes, to clothes, to sunglasses, to everything. You won't have matter. You won't have a lot of stuff. You won't have wardrobes and shelves. You just have the things that you're using right now. I'm gonna show you an example. Everybody in this room knows 3D printing. Everybody in this room knows 3D printing. So it is a 3D printed rabbit. But I don't know if everybody here knows 4D printing. 4D printing is the 3D printing that when you put water or UV rays or infrared rays, it self-assembles. So in this case, they put this 3D object in the water and it became something else, okay? So in this case, this rabbit was 3D printed using this raw material. This was the raw material, this filament, this red filament. So it melts the filament, and layer by layer, you have the rabbit. Usually, when you have a 3D printer and the filament finishes, you have to buy a new filament in order to print another stuff. And then when you don't have any filaments anymore, you have to buy a new filament, right? Unless you have this. If you have a 3D printer, and if you have the cruncher, this device attached to your 3D printer, you don't have to buy a lot of filaments. It recycles 3D printing. What does it do? Let's assume we have 3D printed a few cups. You clean the cups. You put the cups in the cruncher. The cruncher the cups turn it into a powder. The powder is extruded and becomes a filament, and then the filament can be used again. So what I'm saying is this. Let's imagine you guys are going to a custom party. And your custom is construction worker custom, okay? But you don't have the helmet. So you go to your 3D printer and 3D prints the helmet. And then you go to the party, and then you go back to home, and then you find out, what the hell am I gonna do with the construction worker helmet? You know, why storage in that? So you don't storage that. You put that in your cruncher, it turns into a powder, it becomes a filament, and you know tomorrow will be a sunny day, and you don't have sunglasses. And then you print a pair of sunglasses. Your helmet becomes a pair of sunglasses. And then in the other day, you enjoy your sunglasses in the sunny day, but it's wintertime, so you won't have any sunny days in the next, I don't know, months. So why storing your sunglasses if you won't use it? So you won't store it. You're gonna turn it into a powder, then to a filament, and then you know a friend of yours is going to have breakfast with you tomorrow morning, and you just have a cup. Why having 2 cups if you live by yourself, right? So you just have 1 cup, and then you 3D print another cup in order to host your friend. And then your friend go there, you guys have a very nice breakfast, but when he goes out, why storing the cup? In fact, your mom calls and says, Tiago, I was very mad at you, but we have to solve this problem. I'm gonna visit you. And I know that, and I know I don't need the cup, so I turn it in powder, then into filament, and then into a portrait frame. And I 3D print a very big portrait frame. I put a very big picture of me kissing my mom, and I put it just in the front door and say, Mom, you see how much I love you, I'm sorry, and blah, 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 and things go okay. And then when my mom leaves, I see this big picture doesn't match with my decoration and say, oh, screw you, mom. I'm gonna turn it to powder again. And my girlfriend says, Tiago, I'm gonna see a new apartment that's being built. Maybe I'll buy it, but it's under construction. Do you know someone that has a construction helmet? And it turns to a construction helmet. So what I'm saying is, everybody in this room today can have access to matter. You don't need to have wardrobes anymore. You don't need to have shelves anymore. You don't need to have stuff anymore. You can access matter when you need it. And when you don't need it, you won't have it. It's just a virtuality. So you can have everything owning nothing. And this is a major shift when it comes to industrial and owning economy. Less goods, less insurance for goods. And how are we prepared for this? But let's move a little bit faster and talk about cars. Because cars are the heart of the biggest industry in the world, the transportation industry, at least the biggest industry when it comes to jobs. So everybody talks about automated cars, and automated cars is a big trend. I don't know if you guys have the opportunity to be inside an automated car. This is a self-driving car. In the beginning, it looks kind of weird, but I think we're gonna get used to that soon. So it self-drives itself, and you just go there with your hands just to feel safe, because if you just allow the car drives, it will be safer than you trying to screw everything else. This is how a self-driving sees the world. So it sees the road, it sees the cars, it knows what are trucks, passengers, pedestrians, buildings, the route, everything. So it's very smart. It uses an algorithm, a field of artificial intelligence called computer vision. And I'm gonna show you right now how good they are. So this car, there is a camera here. This car has the self-driving autopilot on. And there, something will happen. I'm gonna show to you, I won't say anything, no spoilers, and then I'll put the video again to see if you figure out. Good, turns, yeah. So I'll put the video again. Can you kill the lights, please? Just a little bit. Okay, pay attention on the sound. Have you seen that? 1 second before the crash, the autopilot said to the driver, I'm gonna brake because there's a crash happening in 1 second there. And I'm beeping just to let you know that I'm braking. And I assume most of you would crash or would brake very close to this car. This system is very safe. Very, very, very smart and very safe. This system also allows the car to self-park itself. So it drops the person and it goes to work, and the car drives itself and it just self-parks. And I think this video is very funny. Not just because it's self-parking itself, but because will this car ever park? Think about that. Will this car ever park? I'm gonna share with you a scenario, a not very futuristic scenario. Someone at 9 a.m. orders a self-driving Uber. Just to explain my idea. Self-driving Uber, okay, 9 a.m. The car, when I order, the car knows that it will pick me up at 9:02 and the ride will finish at 9:08. And then the car goes there, picks me up at 9:02 and drives till the destination, but something happens at 9:07. What happens at 9:07? Someone else, a second passenger, orders self-driving Uber. And because of GPS, the self-driving Uber knows this ride is its right, and it says, okay, I'm gonna go there, but I already know that I'm gonna pick him up at 9:10 a.m. and I'm gonna drop him at 9:13. And it goes to this way, but at 9:12, another passenger orders a self-driving Uber. And the Uber knows because of the GPS that this is his ride, it's right. And at 9:14, the Uber goes there and picks him up, and that's it, and that's it. And this car will drive 24/7, every day, 365 days a year. This car won't park. Maybe never. In fact, I know when this car is parking. When it has to refuel, or when it knows that it needs a repair, for example. In this case, it will park. But this is the interesting part. Once self-driving cars don't cause as much accidents as we do, and once the cars don't cause traffic jams because they talk to each other and they slow down or speed up depending on the conditions, I think that this is a very interesting question, an important question. Will a responsible government allow people to have cars and put society in risk? I'm saying about a responsible, not a corrupt. I don't know about your government. In Brazil, we have a very corrupt government. So a responsible government will allow people to have cars because we kill a lot of people get hurt, and self-driving cars won't do that. Will a responsible government will do that? Will a responsible government allow people to cause huge traffic jams? And it's bad for the economy, for example. It's bad for someone that's waiting for a donation, an organ donation. Will? I don't think so. I think in the future, and it's not very far, the governments, the responsible governments, won't allow ourselves to have cars. Because we kill people, because we hurt people, because we cause traffic jams. So the public system will have these self-driving cars, and people won't have self-driving cars because the cost for society is too high. So, automated cars, a lot of people say, but Tiago, automated cars are not perfect. No one will do that. And I claim that automated cars don't need to be perfect. They just need to be better than us. And they are already. I prefer getting inside a self-driving car instead of going inside a car with any of you. Sorry about that, but it's more cost-effective, more safe, more smarter. And right now, we feel strange because it's a new technology. In 10 years, don't worry. Don't worry. Are we prepared for that? Because if no one has a car, are we going to have car insurances? Maybe not. But let's move a little bit further. A little bit further. Because when it comes to health, the health that they taught us, it's very different from the health that we're going to have. They said, Tiago, your lifespan is about 70, 80, 85 years. And this is bullshit. I'm going to live, if I don't have an accident, 110, 115, 120 years. Maybe more. Maybe more. Because technology is providing us information. I'm getting data right now. I'm getting data right now about my health. And this health is being processed. And it gives me knowledge about myself. And I can be healthier because this data. And this data will speed up, will accelerate, will scale in an exponential rate. And in the near future, you'll know a lot about yourself and you'll live longer. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to present to you this technology. Who knows 23andMe? Okay, so you might believe me in the end of this presentation. This is a health kit that costs $149. I think everybody in this room can afford it. And it's a DNA scanning kit. So it comes from the mail, you open, it has a plastic tube, you take a sample of your saliva, you send to the lab, and the lab analyzes it, it scans your DNA, and it gives you a lot of information about your future health, like this. Tiago, you have 41.7% to develop type 2 diabetes, instead of the average risk of 25.7%. So, pay attention. Tiago, you have 21.4% to develop prostate cancer, instead of the average, that is 17.8. Pay attention. It gives me the elevated risks that I have, the average risks that I have, and the low risks that I have. For example, I have, let me see, Alzheimer. I have just 4.9% instead of 7.2%. That's the average. So it's good news, but could be 99%. This exam tells me what are the medications that work better on my organism. For example, if I have a car accident, if I'm driving with you, not an automated car, and I have a car accident, and I have to go to the hospital, maybe the doctor just have 2 minutes to decide which medication he'll give me, and if I have this information, maybe I'll live, maybe I'll die. It tells me my traits, my recessive genes. So if I have a biological son with another person that also has these traits, it's 100% sure this baby is going to have this condition. And I can think about this prior, not later. And it's also a social network. Everything is a social network. So I can go there and find my cousins and like their posts and everything else. So for those who like heritage trees, this is the future of heritage trees. And this is my brother Diego. They did the exam. I didn't know that. But the 23andMe found out that we were brothers. He said, this guy can't be another thing but your brother. He said, you have a brother. Also, you have a father and you have a mother. Because my mom and my father did the exam. They didn't told me. They didn't tell me that. And it's interesting because Diego, my brother, has 48.3% of shared genetic material. My father has 47.5 genetic material shared. And somehow 23andMe knows this is your father and this is your brother. It's not the amount, it's what. So, because of that, I lost a lot of weight. Because of that, I started to eat more healthy. Because of that, I started to run. Because of that, I changed my behavior. In changing my behavior, I'm avoiding type 2 diabetes. I'm not dying of type 2 diabetes because of information. Because I don't care about this. But now I care because I know. And if people know, how will they treat their own health? And if people treat their health like I'm doing, what about the lifespan? And this is just a very, very, very tiny example. This technology is nothing compared to things that I could share with you. Final, I know I'm behind time, but I'm finishing. The new consumer will be living in a gamified reality. I'm going to show you mixed reality and augmented reality will surround us in the next 5, 7, 10 years, and we'll be gaming much more than we do right now in our cell phones, like this. So, for those that don't like to cook, maybe this device will help you. And cooking is not boring anymore. No, let's just play the egg game. Let's play the cutting game. And you'll be awesome. And you'll learn. You don't need to watch MasterChef anymore. You just use this in order to learn how to cook. I'm going to present to you the gym of the future. This is a very intense exercise. A very intense exercise. Right now, what you have to do, you have to find a personal trainer or go to the gym or download or buy 8-minute workouts and be very motivated in order to do that. It's very challenging. But with this, I would do that. I can do that. So the thing is, augmented reality and mixed reality devices, they're gonna surround us, and our life will be very different. I'm gonna introduce to you Magic Leap. It's something that is being released next year. And this is what they say the technology will be. This video is recorded with the technology in front of the camera, right? So the lenses are in front of the camera. So this is the things that you see with your eyes. So this is Excel. So you have a notification. Okay, it's a message. And it's Wikipedia. So you have another email, you go there, it's a purchase you did. So it's very different from buying online right now, right? I won't show you this another video because I don't have any time. The technology will be like a pair of lenses with this helmet, and you'll interact with your hand. And how are you thinking about our services? Are we waiting for this to be released, then we'll start to think about this technology? Or are we thinking ahead? Final. A lot of you guys are thinking, but this is the future. I'm here to understand the present. I have a lot of challenges in the present. I have bills to pay. I have team. I have quarter numbers to meet. I have a goal that I didn't achieve yet in 2007. I know that. I'm a businessman. I have a lot of companies. I know that. So that's why I brought to you a real life example. I don't know if you are familiar with Trove. How many of you know Trove? Okay. So Trove, I won't say Trove is the insurance of the future. I would say Trove is the insurance of the present. If you see your insurance company, your insurance services, and it's not like this, maybe we are the insurance of the past.
I'm leaving my house now.
So I won't present to you the second video because I don't have time, but Troves ensures you what is important to you or for the customer, when the customer thinks it's important, for the length the customer thinks it's important, and respecting the connected mindset. When I leave my house, it knows I'm leaving my house and it ensures my computer that's in the house, for example. Okay. I'm pretty sure some of you are, what the fuck was going on here? Because he told us about 23andMe and 3D printed helmets and self-driving cars, and I don't get it. What's the point of this presentation? And I'm gonna skip just a few slides, and I'm gonna go through the end and explain to you what's the main point. We could summarize, if you lost contact with the traffic control, come with me right now. If you could summarize this presentation, we could summarize using Alvin Toffler's quote. Alvin Toffler is my favorite futurist, and he said something that is brilliant. He said, the illiterate of the 21st century are the ones that cannot read and write. Aren't the ones that cannot read and write. Are the ones that are not able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. I'll say it again. The illiterate ones of the 21st century aren't the people who can't read and write. Are the people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. What was he saying? He was saying that if you guys have this mindset, the industrial mindset, the ownership mindset, living by this mindset, and are not able to learn a new mindset, the digital mindset, the shared economy, the distribution, the empowering, everything Edgar said, you are illiterate. If you guys are not able to put this industrial ownership mindset away, if you are not able to unlearn this mindset, you are illiterate. If you're not able to relearn new mindsets, you are illiterate. Maybe you guys will say, but I'm the CEO of a company, but I'm the president, but I'm rich, I'm a billionaire. I have an island with my name. Say, you know how to learn? No. Relearn? No. Unlearn? No. Illiterate. People ask me a lot, what do I have to know to be prepared for the future? Do I have to know Mandarin? Do I have to program? Do I have to know robotics? I say, no, you just have to know 3 things. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's it. Because if you don't know how to learn, unlearn, and relearn, every scenario that comes will be scary. On the other hand, if you know how to learn, unlearn, and relearn, it doesn't matter. Because if the scenario is to do that, I will learn. If the scenario is to that, I will relearn. If the scenario is to that, I will learn again. Of course, everything I shared with you is very challenging. For me, for you, for everybody, for Google, for NASA, for everybody. But I'll share with you what I think. I think it's very challenging for the people outside this room. Because people outside this room, people that work in the same field that you work, outside this room, don't have the humbleness to learn. Don't have the humbleness to unlearn. Don't have the humbleness to relearn. If you already have the learner mindset. Otherwise, you would spend this morning doing something else. Anything else you could do. If you are here, you already have the humbleness in order to learn how to be prepared to this very challenging scenario, very challenging future. And that's why I don't say thank you. I say congratulations to you. These are my contacts. It's very easy to reach me. I'll be around. I had a very challenging flight to Colombia, so I'm kind of dizzy. I wake up at 11 p.m. this night. But but I'll be there. If you want to create a shared economy, you have to share. And in order to share, you have to be open. And I'm open to be connected with you, and I hope you guys are open also. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll be here to answer some questions. Sorry about the time.